My special guest today is Carly Furman. Carly is the Chief Executive Officer of Nayax. Nayax's mission is to empower retailers to navigate their trajectory by providing tools for growth and a system to decrease their operational costs with a next generation global payment system. For the past 5 years, Carly Furman has overseen all operations for the North American market and previously worked for Nayax R&D headquarters in Herzliya, Israel, where she was the CFO of all of Nayax's subsidiary companies. Prior to joining the Nayax family, Carly worked in public accounting and corporate finance, focusing on the biotech, fintech, and real estate sectors. Carly has a BA degree in economics with an emphasis on accounting from the University of California, Santa Barbara, and is a registered CPA. Welcome to the show, Carly.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, my pleasure. Well, can you just get started and tell our listeners a little bit about Nayax? It's this big payment system. What's it do? Who's it for? What's the problem that it solves?
Sure. So, kind of the long and the short of it is that Nayax, we're a global company. So our payment systems and our total solution is in 60 countries globally. The company's been around since 2005. And really at the heart of it, we're a payment solution provider. So, we really concentrate on the omni-channel payment experience. And our kind of core focus has been really the unattended payment experience. So, we're talking about being able to accept EMV payments, including, EMV contact and contactless, mobile payments, alternative payment methods via QR code, closed loop payments like student cards and prepaid cards. Um, Across the globe on any unattended machine. So whether it's more traditional food and beverage machines or other kind of vending machines that are retailing kind of non-traditional products like everything from eyelashes to makeup, as well as our devices are on electric vehicle charging stations, amusement rides, unattended car wash bays. So really anything where you don't want a person physically there to have to take the payment. So very appropriate in a post-COVID and supply chain and employee strapped environment.
Yeah, it sounds like you're allowing people to be creative with where they're taking payments. You can anywhere you can imagine being able to take a payment, you can do it. Whereas it used to be, well, there's a lot of barriers and places where you can't, or people are carrying around a pocket full of quarters or something like that. And the idea with that creativity is that you can increase your revenue. So you're selling to businesses that want to be able to take payments so they can make more money. Is that the main idea, that like if your business didn't have a way to take payments or you had to have someone be there, that you can automate that and increase the places where you're capturing revenue from your customers?
100%. And even take it a step further, it's not only about being able to increase, the availability of locations as well as the times that you can accept payments, not having to be dependent on having, a employee at a register, but also it's about democratizing the payment experience too. So as a payment solution provider and not just a manufacturer and innovator of payment hardware, we also do kind of the A to Z for the onboarding payment process too for our customers. So we're able to, have, your kind of, gig entrepreneur, if you will, who has a few vending machines, or maybe also, has, their own shop and wants to, after hours be able to, vend their, cupcakes, at 4 o'clock in the morning without having, to have the store open. But that person doesn't have to actually deal with all the onboarding and headache of then having to deal with certifications, engage with a big bank. So we are actually act as the payment facilitator too. As well as offer an entire management system so you can actually monitor your unattended business remotely.
Right. This is something that you might not think about if you're going to go into business or you need to take payments. Is like, well, how am I going to actually collect this money? If
Yep.
it used to be you'd have to have a cash register or a traditional kind of credit card terminal, something like that. But that doesn't give you the flexibility that it sounds like Nayax is providing. on your website it says 30,000 businesses around the world are using this solution. Is this something that I've used in my daily life? Like if I even if I'm traveling different countries, anywhere I'm buying, I'm probably running across your technology.
100%. Probably if you've ever bought a soda from a vending machine or, ice cream from a vending machine or, washed your car at an unattended car wash bay, or if you drive an
Mm.
an EV vehicle and have, stopped at a rest stop, along, we're on the East Coast here, so along the I-95, there's a very good chance that you've interacted with an IX terminal.
Wow. Oh, I'm old enough to remember 30 years ago what it would have been like to maybe there was fewer options of places I could shop or things that I needed were harder to get, and I'm still digging in my pocket for cash and different places you just can't buy anything. Is this almost like become this technology that you're providing becomes so pervasive, and maybe your goal is that I don't have to worry about it, that I don't have to think about it. I can facilitate those transactions, and this becomes just part of our world. Is that the way you think about these payments?
100%. I think now it's not a should I add cashless payments, to my business. It's ensuring you're having the most seamless cashless payment experience
Mm,
and ensuring that you're accepting all available payments. Because I think to your point, even 15 years ago, it would be more of a novelty
mm,
to, um, be able to pay with a credit card on an unattended machine, and maybe people were still more accustomed then to paying with change or dollar bills. Then even go a few years back and it became more of a commonplace to pay with credit card. Now I take it a step further. I mean, we all walk out of our house without our wallets, and be
mm.
able to pay by mobile
Phone.
payment.
Right.
So I think it's really it's a necessity, and also I think the cost of collecting cash is, there's a cost to accepting cash too,
Mm,
right? The collection side of it, the counting side of it, the dealing with employee theft. This is not to use the buzzword again, but there's a reason why words are buzzy, right? This is seamless, right? Once the device is on, we do all the integration. It's easy onboarding. We handle the KYC, so you're not having to engage with a big bank. We handle the PCI. We handle the EMV certifications. So basically, we're allowing operators to you know connect, put an IX reader on their machine, and next thing you know, be able to be accepting cashless payments as well as having the visibility to how that unattended business is actually operating.
mm. I like the idea that reducing friction can increase my sales as a business owner, but also cut my costs. Like I don't have someone who's got to take this bag of money or handle different types of payments. I can figure that all out with one solution, and my business is not only making more money, but we're saving money at the same time. Can you talk a little bit about this specific form of payments for electric vehicles that you mentioned? This is something my town just had. We've got vending machines where I can pay without quarters, but we just added charging ports. This is something I'm seeing all over. I think about it a lot. Like maybe I should have an electric vehicle. This is something that I see in the news. Can you talk a little bit about the what you're doing in that space and how electric vehicle charging ports work?
Yeah, it's been really fascinating to get to be part of kind of this expansion of the entire EV charging network, through Nayax. So, Nayax, we actually have our own, we call it EV meter. So that's our own actual electric vehicle charging station that is incorporated with the Nayax payment reader. But additionally, Nayax also is integrated. So at the heart of it, we're a technology company. We're an R&D company. We don't outsource our technology. Our devices aren't white labeled. Our hardware, and all the software behind the scenes. We have over 300 people in our R&D office alone, which the majority of them are actually on the engineering side. App hardware, software. So what makes the technology unique, especially when you're looking at something more complicated like EV charging, is our ability to integrate our device with other OEMs or original equipment manufacturers, in this case charging manufacturers. So the actual ones who are making those fast chargers, our devices, we have a proprietary protocol that allows basically our device to be able to connect with a smart machine like an EV charger. So, it's been really cool, to be honest with you, to be able to kind of be at the forefront and engaging with all of these global electric vehicle manufacturers, as well as the electric vehicle service providers, who are the ones who are creating this entire infrastructure across the U.S. It's really going to change, the way that we're all going to be, commuting here in the near future. So, and there's lots of ways to pay when we're looking at the EV, at the kind of EV landscape. So Nayax is a big believer in offering open payments, so still being able to go and pay with a credit card or a mobile payment at an EV charging station, especially as we're looking beyond the early adopters of EV drivers. There's been a lot of, especially historically, it was subscription-based payment,
Mm,
or, we're also hearing a lot about, it's being referred to as plug and charge, which is the ability to basically drive up and have, the payment made, by a stored credit card, that's connected actually to the car. But, I think, as we're looking as, as a country and as a globe, to, decrease our reliance on oil and be able to go, more and more to EV charging, to get those people who are a little bit more hesitant to kind of take the plunge into the EV driving world. One of the things that we have heard is to have a payment experience when you charge that's synonymous with a
mm,
fueling
yes.
experience.
Yeah, so they don't have to relearn something different or something confusing.
Exactly.
It sounds like Nayax is actually enabling innovation. So you're innovating. You've got this big R&D team that's constantly working on hardware and software. But do you think about yourselves as kind of, literally in this example, powering, but in general, powering people to be creative with how they do business? Is that kind of your ethos? Do you think about that as like a driving factor behind what you do?
100%. I mean, I think I kind of joke around. We are not a cashless payments company. We are a technology company. That is our goal, right? To be able to enable, as you mentioned, increasing revenue by taking cashless payments, as well as decreasing costs through operational efficiencies and optimization of products. But the way to do that, that you take that product and then you're allowing people to get their creative juices flowing to also expand their business opportunities, right? I mean, the things that people are using Nayax to now be able to vend, if you will, on an unattended machine are fascinating. Everything from having pop-up shops with magnetic eyelashes, Legos in the airport, mom and pops that are selling, we have a few people that are selling milk and eggs actually with vending machines. It's really fascinating.
Interesting. But hopefully before too long, I'll be making a payment on the moon using your technology. Uh, Maybe it's not
It's
that
all
far
possible.
away.
It's all possible, it feels like now.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you mentioned a little bit about some of the data that is collected and underlies this. So like if I'm a business owner, I need to know how much money did I make? But can you tell me a little bit more deeply about the information that folks who use Nayax's technology can access and analyze? What kind of information is in there?
Because it's interesting, right? So, when you're initially thinking of, an unattended machine, right? Of course it's, well, how am I going to get someone to pay, right? That's kind of the first thing, right? The revenue side of it. But when you really kind of, unpeel the layers, you also, realize the things that are in a traditional retail establishment where, you have employees present, you would know, right? If you're out of stock and need to
Mm,
reshelve the fill, the shelves. If you, in this case, if your machine loses power, all of these things, that you don't have visibility to, or an immediate responsiveness to necessarily in an unattended environment, we're able to provide using our back end management portal, utilizing the telemetry that our devices send. So, you can set up, we have like thousands of custom alerts that you can, set up, so you can know if you haven't had a cash sale or a cashless sale in X amount of time. You can
uh-huh.
define that threshold. Or if there's been, no power for X amount of time, power up without a power down kind of
Mm,
thing. If, you can, for those that are selling more of inventory items, versus um, like a car wash in this case. But so someone who's an inventory item, like actually, food or a beverage, right? You can actually set it so that you can actually manage your inventory and know, not only when you need to stock your machine, but also what you need to stock it with, as well as be able to optimize actually what you are selling. So using those reports to say, okay, I can really see that in one location, they're going really heavy on Snickers, but in another location, it seems like that isn't moving well. Maybe I should actually look to optimize, what I'm selling in a different location.
Wow. Yeah, so you can, as a business owner, you get control of that data and you can use that to increase revenue, decrease costs. Same story
Right,
as everywhere else, but if I don't have to send someone out to check if my kiosk is up and running, saved money. And if I know,
right.
we need to double up our inventory on Snickers here. For some reason, folks in this area love Snickers. Now I'm selling more because I had that data at my fingertips.
Exactly.
Um, that I mean, it's super intuitive. I don't run. I have run those kinds of businesses, and it would have been really nice to not have to go count inventory all the time to know how
Yeah.
many sales I made. It's really easy to imagine how that would help. Can you talk a little bit about the future? Like, what kind of things are you working on now? You've got this big R&D department, 300 folks working on hardware and software. Where are you thinking you need to go next in order to keep allowing innovation?
Sure. So, again, the unattended has, is kind of at the at the root of what, Nayax, has been about. But really now, as cliched as it is the world is getting smaller and also the retail environment is getting smaller too. Really being able to create an omni-channel payment experience for our customers, which we refer to, our customers as our operators, is really important. So we're also we have an entire a retail division that we're building out that's going to also have that same connected platform availability, as well as also, really expanding out our electric vehicle department. So it's not only, which we've had great success, and it's been, like I mentioned, exciting to be part of using our payment devices on partnering with other EV chargers, but also being able to offer an entire EV charging with Nayax payments. Device. So those are really two things too that we're concentrating on, as well as of course just in post COVID, the kind of the expansion of and desire of unattended payments, is it's just been fascinating to kind of be part of
Yeah.
that.
I mean, let's talk a little bit more about that COVID situation. So, when this hit, was there, did you see increased demand for your solutions because you're putting someone in jeopardy if they have to be there to take that payment? Was that something that drove up interest in your products?
Yeah, most definitely, right? Because we're talking about cashless payments, right? So, I think especially in the early parts of COVID, right, where
Mm,
everyone was like still wearing the gloves and all that, and didn't want to like touch cash. But even now too, right? That kind of helped push a lot of people who were still kind of dependent on cash to more of a desire and a comfortability of using cashless payments. So the cashless payments part of it, plus the contactless experience of not having to actually have an employee there, really kind of, boosted forward, post COVID. And now, as labor has become tighter too, it's also kind of, just kind of helping with that momentum. Since again,
mm.
we're seeing, I think we've all seen, even when you're going to the airports now, right, where you've had traditional attended retail um, uh, payments, now we're seeing more and more kiosks,
Yes.
right? Even where you would still need to have one person, present just to kind of keep an eye on things. But, everyone is still, you could have, 10 bays of unattended attended checkout stations, instead of then needing 10 attendants, for those 10 locations. So Nayax also is pretty heavy in that front, being able to offer a kiosk solution too.
I kind of think you might have saved some lives. I don't want to be too dramatic about it, but if fewer
Well,
people if fewer people got sick because they didn't interact with other people who were contagious, maybe some people survived because of that. And then on the less, maybe the less, it's not as impactful as the EVs or saving lives. But if I can have more shopping options because more kiosks can exist, as a consumer, I think I'm going to get a better outcome because I have more choice, and I
sure.
think businesses have more choice too because they maybe can operate in a way they didn't consider in the past. So you're really, I think you're enabling a lot of good things in the world and more choices for business. Um, it was really nice to talk to you and hear all about what you're doing. The website, if you want to check it out, is Nayax, Nayax.com. It was really
Cool.
awesome having you on the show, Carly. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Andrew, for having me. It was nice to speak with you.